you don't want to burn your trust with your word when it comes to giving advice.
Great point.
And a lot of times the advice is good sound advice, but you've burnt your trust with this person or individual.
It won't land.
And it's not going to land. There's kids right now who you're telling them not to be a gang member, but yet they're watching you every day go outside and gangbang. So like for them, they can't see why you're saying don't join the gang, don't be in the streets. Because you do know better, but yet you don't do better. So if you're actively trying to give these people advice, but you're not building trust with them, then they're not going to take your advice. And in fact, they probably look up to you, which is the sick thing, right? Because like they're going to emulate you. And I say this from experience, a recent experience. I kind of touched on this last week with you guys, is that there's kids on the football team who their coaches are smoking weed and doing different types, coming in drunk and coaching them. They're 12 years old, they're 13 years old. These little boys are very impressionable. And then, come to find out, they're telling me these things.
The kids?
The kids. They're like, yo, can you coach us? Because other coaches are doing this, they're doing that.
Wow.
And come to find out, literally 1 week after that, they're in my building. They're at the bottom floor of my building, and they're smoking.
Wait, the kids or the coaches?
The kids.
Wait.
Right? So now we give...
What age you teach?
Well, not mine, but I do 8 and 9. But now they have they had between 11 to 13. They had those two groups. Now these kids now are doing the same thing that you're telling them not to do because they're watching you do it. So you're burning that trust with them, and then you're expecting them to do better. But in fact, they're just emulating you because you're actually condoning what you're doing by doing it actively while trying to tell them the opposite.
Yeah, then they don't work.
But
It's
do
not
they
gonna
do
work.
it in their presence though?
No, I mean even it doesn't
Come
even
around
matter.
them probably smelling like bud or smelling like...
Yeah.
Or it
Because
doesn't-
11
it just-
to 13 is actually...
But even if you take away the fact that
Yeah, the age is not
they're not like these. We like to
I'm
think
just...
that kids
that's
are
the
stupid.
age that I
The
knew
kids
about
are the
weed.
most observational creatures on earth, right? Like they observe everything that you're doing.
Next to a black woman.
I just find it crazy that like this is the first time I've ever been in a position where I'm coaching little kids, right? And then mind you, I coached the 8 and the 9-year-old kids. I got the group of kids that were 11 years old and a group of kids that are now the 13-year-olds begging me to be their coach. I never even coached them, right? They've just watched me coach. And mind you, it was no cakewalk for these kids that I coached either. It was hell being raised for when they were wrong too. But there's a respect level and a trust level. And when anybody respects and trusts you to guide them,
Right.
they're willing to bet on you to bring them to where they need to go. And a lot of times we get advice from people who we just can't respect or trust. I do also think I agree with Alan. Back with that music group that I told you when I was 21,
The rap group.
they
Not hated.
only one hated, right? When I was 22, a year later, I signed my first deal. That first thing this nigga said, the first thing this nigga said was, "How did you do it?" I was like, "What?" That was the red flag.
You thought he was gonna be proud of you.
No, because he was already like I was always, everything I did was a problem.
Okay.
Right, he was like the leader of the group, and everything I did was like, oh, like, you just don't listen to nobody, and you just think you could do whatever you want to do. But everything that I've ever did always had a reason.
But were you still looking to be like, I made it, and like these older dudes I look up to, like, were you looking for them to be like, yo, man, like, shit, good job.
One of
You
them,
did something that what I'm asking is that when you made it and you did something that they had not accomplished, were you looking for them to be like, yo, like, my young dude, like, you did it. We tried, we crawled so you can walk, and like, you actually did it. And, we respect that. Is that what the reaction was that you were looking for?
I mean, yes, from one of them, the one that brought me in, who is still like one of my like good friends to this day. And because you got to remember, I was recording in the worst studio. I got brought to the best studio in New Jersey where Omarion DMX produced his album. Chris Brown came out of there. Fetty Wap came out of there. all of these great people came out of the studio, right? And I was able to go there only on the strength of them because they don't just take people. They don't just work with anybody. So when I worked with them, I came off the strength of one specific person who brought me to the group. He gave me good praise. The other person who was the other leader was questioning how I did it, was questioning why it was so fast for you, was questioning like, well, what did he do? Like, did he sell his soul? Like, you know what I'm saying? Now I had conspiracy theories on me. All right. So there are some older people who hate on you when you do things faster than them.
Or shit that they
Or shit that they've never done.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right? And you're right. And that's the thing. So I do think that is
I've actually experienced it. I 100% agree. Yeah.
you think it's
Hurtful
I
and
expect
jealous.
it though. I don't think well for me I never looked at it as hurtful because I could understand it. I could
Like
understand
why?
Yeah, I could understand how it feel. Well, maybe I go back to how I grew up, but I could understand how it feels to watch somebody get everything that you want. Because I always had nothing, but everybody had everything. So I know how it felt when you had the new Jordans and I didn't. You know what I'm saying? So like when I got to all the things that I got.
But Rico, is it things that you wanted or you worked for? Because what you're saying is that like that professional career in music, you worked for it. You know, so it ain't like you just wanted it, like, oh, the bitch gonna fall out the sky. Like you actually worked for it. So
But for them, and I agree with you, it's a big difference. So I'm not even going to use that analogy that I did use and refute to that. But what I would say for them is, you know, the thing is this: you got people who are doing things, and they might have been doing this for 10 years, right? They've been doing something for 10 years. They've been working at their craft for 10 years. Somebody comes in and does the same exact category, the same exact thing, and pops in 2 years. The person who worked for 10 years and they really applied themselves. I'm not saying half-assed. They invested every dollar that they had. They reached out with their network. And they feel owed. They feel because they are the seniors of this. They put in 8 more years. They feel like they deserve it. Now, there are different factors that might come. Some people are actually better. Some people are just not. But the thing is, it's like I would tell everybody, just wait your turn because your turn will come. Sometimes, like for me, I could be like, yo, I've been working for 10 years. I've been doing this for 10 years, right? I didn't start seeing money to provide for myself until I was 7, 8 years in. You know how many people I watched blow up in that 7 year span?
Right.
And they still good to this day. But you also know how many people I watched blow up and now are struggling today?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like you just gotta also trust that process and again, nobody's exempt from hating on you, including your own circle. You know?
Ooh. No, I'm not even saying about hating me. What I'm saying is that that statement, I saw something, I was like, yo, this shit speaks. They said just because they in the front row do not mean they cheering for your ass. Boy, when
They waiting for you to fall.
They just want the closest look.
Basically.
child, when I saw that, and honestly, I'm not a person that feel like people hating on me. Really, don't even think about me. That's what I would prefer. That's literally what I would prefer.
Keep my thought out your thoughts.
Yeah, like Aaron Campbell is like, unless you got a money making opportunity, like,
Yeah.
trust me, don't worry about
If it
it.
ain't about money, don't contact me.
Yeah, but when I heard that statement, I was like, oh my God, there are so many people that I literally know who have people literally in their circle. Your mama, your daddy, like your siblings. Like you think these are people that are like cheering you on, want you to do better, and they not. Like and it's crazy because in my mind, I could never imagine like my parents being jealous of me because real talk, you finna retire and you on your way out. Like you want me to do well so that you can have a great life in your retirement and you ain't got a begging ass child asking to stay at home or, you know, can I have a couple dollars or, you know what I'm saying? Like you would think that those people in that very close proximity to you are like cheering you on like, yo, you did some shit that we knew that you could do. Like we invested in you. We was there from the jump. You always been smart. You always been this and that. Like you would just think that those people who are on that front row are like in your corner, but it's just crazy to find out that it's not always the case. And that shit can be like shocking.